Okay, the Cybertruck situation is crazy, and I haven't talked about the situation because I really don't like glorifying. I'm not out here trying to like push out content that's terrorist attacks and stuff like that. We had the situation in New Orleans where a guy mowed down a bunch of people in his car. Had apparently a flag to a certain association, ISIS. People don't like them here in America. And then we had another situation happen very close together, which was the Cybertruck situation, where it was parked in front of Trump Tower in New Vegas, or Las Vegas. Sorry, not we're not talking about Fallout. And so yeah, it caught on fire. So this is apparently this guy Sam Shoemate has a. He's talking about the Cybertruck bomber, which is Matt Livelsberger, and his emails reveals new evidence to this whole situation, which people have been saying that this guy is a nut. This is a conspiracy theory. That this is lies. I don't know what it is. A lot of mainstream media is not talking about this evidence. They're not talking about the situation. So yeah, I'm gonna react to this whole thing. Or as much as I can. This is the last video I'm reacting to tonight. Just because this situation is nutty. I love conspiracy theories. We're putting the tinfoil hat on. Speculation, disclaimer, this is all speculation. We're just raw reacting to Mr. Shoemate. Let's go.
Sam Shoemate, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm nervous about this one.
Yeah, me too.
I bet.
I'm really nervous about this one. So yesterday, come into work.
What is this? CEO of Vigilant Elite, former Navy SEAL, former CI contractor. Oh shit.
And our stuff's been exploding because of the Sarah Adams. Had Sarah Adams, Scott Man Legend, did an interview with Masood, kind of warning everybody about it's going to be a lot of terrorism here in 2025. Didn't take long. Jan 1, it hit. And, it's interesting. We couldn't get any mainstream media's outlets to pay attention to those interviews. And nobody would really give Sarah a voice. Now,
which I will say is kind of weird because, like, news is notorious for pushing fear. So you would imagine you know what I mean?
Everybody wants to give Sarah a voice because, oh, guess what? The fucking CIA targeter was actually right. Mainstream media gave her no attention. So that's been going crazy. I come in yesterday and for an interview, the first thing I do is talk to my producer, Jeremy, and he says that he's been in contact with you and that you had received some type of manifesto or email from the Green Beret that set off the car bomb at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas.
That's right. So weird.
Jump in an interview.
Because we had a situation, we have so many fucking crazy stories lately, like the fucking drones. People are speculating on fog, which is like ridiculous. But also like the situation with Luigi. They had a manifesto on that one as well. Some people think that's a plant. So you have a guy that's ex-CIA, or not ex-CIA, ex-Navy SEAL. I don't know. This is like really odd that this guy is like releasing this on a podcast. It just seems, is this like the standard we're setting for 2025, like at the gate? Like,
and
what?
Come out, my phone is blown up. Apparently CID, Army CID, which is, how would you describe it? It's like it's
FBI light.
Yeah,
they are federal agents, but yeah,
the Army's FBI.
Yeah,
I get all these messages from these people that say CID is talking to this person and that person, and one of these guys on the list is still operational, and they want his name redacted, and every Green Beret I know is texting me.
Yeah, the guy that died in the Tesla was a Green Beret, and I guess he was in active duty. I didn't know that.
About this, fucking really freaked me out.
That's
man.
really odd.
It was like, well, how did this leak? Who's tracking my fucking phone?
Like when you hear
all
about
that
people
kind
that
of
go
stuff. So
crazy, it's usually people that
I just want to say
retired from
thank
the
you
war.
for being here because
This is so odd also because Joe Rogan just had an episode with was it Rick Perry, and they were talking about psychedelics. I forgot the exact name of the drug, but pretty much he was in favor of that, and this guy's like hardcore Republican, and the main thing was it apparently fixes the brain when it comes to like trauma. You know, a lot of like veterans would benefit from this drug. It's just so odd that episode, which is odd by itself, it's fucking Rick Perry from Texas, who is notorious to be Republican, conservative, against medical, just medical use of drugs in general when it comes to like plant medicine. It just doesn't make sense. And then this fucking happens, and it's not just this situation, but two people in the military making the news for quote unquote terrorist attacks. Some people think, and I'm over here speculating and shit, but I'm just regurgitating what I've heard on the internet, which you gotta take with a grain of salt, right? Just because it's on the internet does not mean it's fucking true. But people are saying that the flag was planted to target ISIS, and people are now trying to connect the dots between these two people. It's just
so
weird, bro. It's
he's
real.
dropping
This
in
whole
on
situation
that
is weird.
conversation you had with Jeremy, and this is a big story, man. This is big.
Yeah, it is.
Real big. And so thank you for being here.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
But I do, before we get too heavy, I got some gifts for you. Here you go.
Excellent.
So we're talking about people monitoring the phone. Have you heard of the unplugged phone?
Yeah.
And for anybody that wants to purchase this phone, you can get it at unplugged.com/Shawn Ryan.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Is it
So
iPhone?
that the unplugged phone keeps big tech from monitoring your texts and your calls. There's a secure messaging app in there. There's a secure email. So get that thing wired up, and
Absolutely.
let's talk on that from now on. So,
Okay.
And then everybody gets a bag of these.
Been waiting for this.
Nice.
This is awesome.
Skittles?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very cool.
But
No, I need it right now. I need a
all right,
Twix.
let's dive into it. This is going to be
Stressing.
kind of tough. I didn't have,
Trying
like
to
I
stay
said, I was
up.
interviewing yesterday, so
Yeah, get your popcorn,
We're kinda
buckle up for
winging
this
it
one. It's
here.
gonna be a
Yeah.
long one, boys. But
So
shit
before
might
we
be
jump
important.
in, I just want to say a couple things about today, and we're not necessarily validating what came in on that email. There's some pretty alarming stuff that came out in the email about the drones that we're seeing on the East Coast and some capabilities that China has,
what?
capabilities that we have.
how the fuck does this story have to do with anything with the drones?
Some activity that went on in Afghanistan in 2019.
What?
Which actually we do have news reports
Wait. How deep is this gonna go?
that is valid. A lot of this stuff actually really
Jesus.
lines up, but we can't give it 100% credibility.
Right.
I think you would agree with that as an intelligence analyst.
100%.
And then additionally, there are a few names, two, I believe, that we are redacting from this because they are still operational. And as much as I would love to release those names, we're not gonna do it so that those guys can remain undercover and not burn their entire operation of what they're into right now.
Oh, what the fuck?
And
You're gonna redact names from a
there was one
manifesto?
more thing.
That's crazy.
I want to give a little background on you. Retired from the Army in 2023 as a CW2
Doesn't that seem kind of, like,
intelligence
counterintuitive?
officer and understand the information war. In 2020, you were still on active duty. You started a social media account where you intended to share memes and GIFs. Despite your intentions, the account grew into what it is today. You've developed, what is the account's name?
It's an Instagram account, goes by Terminal CWO.
Terminal CWO. You've developed a robust network of service members across the Department of Defense who trust you with their reports of unethical and, in some cases, illegal behavior from their leaders. You expose the unethical and illegal behavior while protecting whistleblowers in order to hold military leaders accountable, which is why you received the email from the Green Beret. And because of your background, you come across wild information all the time. You're here today because of an email you received from Matthew Livelsberger a couple of days before the Cybertruck bombing at Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. You'll also be able to discuss what you know about the terrorists who conducted the New Orleans attack. Did I miss anything?
No, that sums it up. Yeah. I'll give a background on why that's significant so your viewers understand how this came into my inbox.
Perfect. One other thing that I just wanted to...
A lot of the people that are talking about this story, like on Legacy Media, are talking about like the guy that offed himself in the car bomber. They're saying that like his DNA doesn't match his kid's DNA or something like that, and they're also talking about like stress from divorce and stuff like that. And I think they're talking about that with like both the situations, the one in NO and also the one in Las Vegas, which seems really extreme. And I get it. There's a lot of people that have like mental health issues, but that's just like what? Like, and there's videos of the guy in NO, New Orleans, where he has videos on like a YouTube channel, or maybe I saw at least one, and he seemed like as normal as that. Like, he seemed like a normal guy. It's just weird, bro. And it's a weird thing with people, you know, just randomly they can just like turn a terrible corner.
Say to the audience is, even though we are redacting these names from the episode,
golly,
you pass that, I believe you passed that email on to the FBI.
Yes.
We're also going to pass it on to our contacts at the FBI. It's very obvious that people know it. Like I said, the CID has been telling everybody. In fact, we talked to Jeremy, who's sitting over there, my producer, me.
This is weird because a bunch of my buddies told me to react to this shit. A bunch of people put this on my radar, like my gym guys, one of the sauna. A bunch of people have talked about it. I haven't seen Legacy Media mention this fucking once, not once. And maybe it's because I'm not looking for it, right? Let me know if anyone is actually talking about this, if this is actually relevant in the mainstream at all. I have not seen that at all. I've seen people talking shit about it. I've seen people being worried about it on Twitter. I don't know exactly the details, so but it's just
my
weird.
Attorney Tim Parlatore.
How many views does this
we're
have?
up till about 10:30 last night.
4 fucking million views, and this came out 4 days ago, bro. This is an hour long, bro. Holy.
Talking to the chief of staff?
Army Chief of Staff PA.
The Army Chief of Staff's POA took a major interest in this as well. And, you know, one of the things that he said, I'll wait till later to bring that up, but I don't know, I don't trust any of these people. I mean, public affairs officers are there to...
I'll keep my mouth.
Yeah.
The fuck? This shit says unveiling gravity propulsion system? FBI and CID involvement, Tesla incident theory, drone and UAP concern. What? Iranian missiles and border security. Oh, Jesus. Iran's involved in this somehow? I thought people were just fucking joking around. Call to action. Bro, we're gonna have to skip a little bit because it is already fucking 3:40 a.m. and I need to go to fucking bed.
Create.
We're gonna watch a big chunk of this.
PAO is there to protect the command.
Yeah.
100%, nothing else.
Yeah.
They're not there to shed transparency on anything. They are there to protect the command.
Let's recreate what the story is. But and you know what's interesting?
For POA, just think of it like PR, right? PR.
Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. You know what he said? He goes, on the call, he said, I didn't talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him. but so add them talk to him. He said, between me and you guys, this guy's DNA didn't match his son.
That's what I've been hearing.
Made it sound like it's some big secret.
People are talking about that shit on Twitter.
At 9:34 p.m., I think it was 9:34 p.m. The New York Post had a headline that said that this guy's. So they're trying to make it sound like this guy did this because
he's crazy, stressed
maybe
out.
he found out the son wasn't his. But
Yeah,
there's a
yeah,
lot
yeah.
more to the story, as you'll find out. So
Yeah.
It seems like he's
so
talking
let's
about
go to
gravity,
you,
propulsion
Sam. How did
systems.
tell me how you got the
Fuck, how
email?
did aliens
All
get
right,
in this?
so for context, I've run this account for the last 4.5 years. There have been people in and out writing articles and different stuff and just investigations, some big, some small,
Yeah.
just trying to keep accountability in the military, but developed a robust network within the military, all branches, and people feed into this and send me messages and here and there. Nothing ever like this has ever come in. But I get a well, it started off as comments. So when you have a big Instagram account, you're going to miss a lot of messages
God,
because
you
people
know this
message
is a
and they'll go to hidden
military-based
messages
show.
and everything
Look at
else. You
all
miss a
that
lot of stuff.
alcohol.
Well, I kept seeing this comment
boys
on
can
recent
drink
posts that
like
I
some
put in
fishes.
there, and it was from this burner account that said, "Hey, check your DMs, check your DMs, check your DMs." So I go in there and try to find it. There's no message from this guy, hadn't come through or whatever. And then he messages again once that message was opened up. And I said, "Hey, your previous messages haven't come through. What do you want to tell me?" And he said, "What I'm going to send you," now these are literally his words, "what I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity." That was his phrase, change the course of humanity. Okay, a little bit dramatic. I get these messages all the time. People have this big story they want to tell. They want to expose their command, whatever. I take everything with a grain of salt until I have evidence and proof. So this guy is insistent. He tells me that he is a 18 Zulu who I've spoken to before, and he really needs to get this stuff to me. And then he talks about you. He says, "I need you to get me in contact with Shawn Ryan." I'm like, dude, I don't know Shawn Ryan. I'm not that big. But he's insistent that I get him diverted to media sources, says go to Fox News, whatever else. And I said, all right, tell me what you got. So I give him my Proton email account, give him my signal number. And he reaches out immediately. And I'm going to read this initial message for you because doesn't have names or anything else on it. But this was his message on Sunday. He reached out and said, like I said, this last Sunday, he said, "Sending with a VPN active on Wi-Fi only. Do not message me. I will send out updates via both Signal and email, but trust me, you're going to want to be involved." Well, first of all, no, I didn't want to be involved. Anyways, and then so I didn't message. I responded back to his original Instagram message, and I said, "Hey, I got your message on Proton Mail," and he said, "Cool, delete this." So I deleted it. That's how I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday. And when I started reading this, my initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto. Mm-hmm. And I told him that in a subsequent email. And I'll read that to you later, my response to him. And once again, my response to him elicited, "Hey, get me in contact with Shawn Ryan, Fox News."
I can already tell people, like, when I'm listening to this, I'm thinking already, like, people could write this off as someone that's batshit crazy. But the important thing to keep in mind is that this email came before the incident with the Cybertruck. So it's not like someone saw the incident and then wanted to push out, like, a fake manifesto. This happened prior to the event. So, like, I mean, I would assume if it's the same fucking guy, and he's saying it's the same fucking guy, unless this guy right here, Mr. Baldy, is coming out and just straight up lying, and trying to capitalize off that situation. Yeah, you gotta. This should have like a little bit more weight to it.
And
you
he
know?
just said Pete Hegseth. Get me in contact with Hegseth, and I'm like, dude, I don't have the incoming Secretary of Defense's phone number. Sorry, bro. That's the last time I talked to him. So yesterday morning.
What date was that?
That was Tuesday. That was this Tuesday. So we're Friday now.
Also, if you want to put on your tinfoil hat on, there is another possibility that like higher forces use this as like a setup, I guess you could say. And so maybe I'm speculating conspiracy, you know, just playing into it a little bit, right? You could say that higher forces could have, you know, planted the body, planted the car bomb, planted the story to this guy, and had trails going all over the place. That way people are like paying attention to this instead of something else. or being misdirected in some kind of way. I don't know. Sending a message so they can, like a false flag.
It was 3 days ago.
So
the day before
30th?
Yeah, the day before the attack. I dismissed this stuff out of hand.
The 31st. It was on the 31st.
Yes. In fact, I posted something on my... I told your producer about this as well. But this was a post I made on Twitter. I was just trying to be humorous, off the cuff. It was... I didn't mean anything about it. I was just being humorous for my audience. And I said, my inbox was especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, government anti-gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds. It's always, the world is ending and I have this information that needs to get to the media, and never, how you doing, brother? Everything all right? I was just playing off of a meme. It was just supposed to be a joke. That was the body of his email that he sent me. And I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know who Matt Berg was, Matt Livelsberger, or anything else. He told me who he was in the email. He pointed me to his LinkedIn account. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I was just kind of being humorous with my audience. Like, I get these crazy messages sometime.
Bro, that would stress me.
And then the day after that message,
oh my God.
I wake up and my buddy was like, hey, Sam, nobody in the community seems to know this guy. Do you happen to know who he is?
Bro, my jaw
I played
would
that
have
for you
dropped
before we came up here. Just absolute shock. That's how I woke up
Do
yesterday.
you want to play it now?
Yeah. Excuse my language. I was definitely in shock. Let me find this chat. So,
You know, while you're digging through that, you know what we should do? I should get that Instagram account from you to see if they messaged any of our Instagram accounts. And we should also get that
I
email
don't have
address.
it. I deleted it.
You deleted it.
He told me to delete it, and I deleted it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should also get that email address and see if they sent it in to the sent it in through the website, and see if he tried to contact us. Get that to the FBI.
So I'm in a
Hopefully
military.
they actually do something.
Yeah, I'm in a military group chat. Buddy Green Beret Corey, he says at Sam. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, "OF, I'm shaking. This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing." And then he said, "Damn." And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
Dude, I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a V-bid. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email.
V-bid?
I am shaking, man.
The fuck is a V-bid?
This is nuts.
And it goes from there. And I sat there for probably an hour talking to my wife. I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like, normal day is shot, and I didn't know what I want to do. Do I sit on this? Do I do nothing with it? I've got to tell somebody. I've got to tell the FBI at least, because this is huge. This is all over
the fact that he doesn't know the host.
And then I was like, well, dude, this guy wanted to get in contact with Shawn Ryan, so let me get this to Shawn Ryan, see if I can get with him. And I had a buddy who knew your producer, and we went from there. But
Wow. Do you want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m. That is Tuesday. He said, "In case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then."
Oh my God.
First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification.
Why? Oh, he could track it.
What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the U.S. Only we in China have this capability.
Throughout history? Is this the shit that... Is this some Bob Lazar shit, bro?
Our OPSEN, that's Operation Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up.
Bro, that would make so much sense. Launching them from the fucking submarine, because they always go into the water. This is the fucking... This isn't just like this is not the drones in fucking on the East Coast right now that people are talking about. This is the shit they're talking about from like the Air Force pilots are seeing on the fucking East Coast, and the stories of like drones, like UFOs and shit like that. This is fucking nutty.
Now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comm system.
Oh, like
there are
recon.
dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate.
Like, but throughout history, the U.S. piloted these as well. If China has this technology and we have this technology, it's not fucking checkmate.
U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them, and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to...
It would make more sense if China would be able to attack from the West Coast. Right? Like...
to move on me,
I guess
and are
not.
unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive V-bid. Let me pause right there
What the fuck is
for a
that?
second. So he says a massive V-bid. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a V-bid was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice, and he goes, "You said that word V-bid. Can you tell me what that is?" For your audience, a V-bid, for your audience who has not been in the GWAT for the last 20 years, a V-bid is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms,
Oh,
a car bomb.
Yeah,
we saw
yeah, okay.
at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, "I am armed and have a massive V-bid. I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have..."
Wait, how is the car bomb an insurance? Like, it would make sense if it was a typical car, but a fucking Cybertruck? Something that you can shoot a fucking bow and arrow with? Like, if Joe Rogan shot a bow and arrow into a Cybertruck, didn't go all the way through. So you're gonna tell me you're gonna set off an explosion in a capsule that is fucking bulletproof? How is that an insurance? That is just you offing yourself. That doesn't make any sense.
kept my phone, and they are
Like,
definitely
logically, you
digitally
gotta
tracking me.
plan this. Like, what?
Here's where he gets into the other stuff. And this is where we had to redact
I'm
the names.
confused.
Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with redacted IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted can validate this.
Okay, so they're active duty, so that makes sense why they redacted, right? They don't want to fuck them over, but they're not redacting it for the FBI. And also, I guess you have to turn this into the FBI, but he was a drone pilot, I'm assuming, or maybe he was, no, he was a drone pilot. Damn, that's crazy, because I've heard about, like, the PTSD from, like, drone pilots, the amount of, like, you're playing a video game and killing people in real life. It's fucking crazy. And a bunch of war crimes, bro, what the fuck?
You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war, because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
Well, this man should have went to Mexico and got the fucking treatment that they're talking about on Joe Rogan's podcast with Rick Perry. This guy seems like he's batshit crazy, bro.
What is USAP? Do you know what
Jesus.
that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones.
Yeah.
That was a very rough dig into the guy.
Well, also he's gonna have a shit ton of PTSD if he's like if those rumors and stereotypes are true. Yeah, and I imagine like the war crimes that the military does, what those drones are is like. I hear about the drones in Ukraine, and this shit sounds fucking metal, bro.
But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information, and I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not gonna...
I don't know what the fuck that means, but when we're talking about propulsion systems, I'm assuming he's talking about shit that we hear about with the drones on, like, Joe Rogan. The shit that we see, the UAPs and shit like that.
And go
in the water and go up,
talking about UFOs,
move like a laser pointer,
anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, "Can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Shawn's show? Hegseth would be good too." That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
To be honest with you, it is a fancy term you're going to find in science fiction. You won't find it in any. As far as I know, you won't find this.
I want to hear from fucking Bob Lazar on this fucking topic.
Any kind of official manual or, scientific research. This is all science fiction. So, but what struck me is his use. What strikes me now, not then, but what strikes me now is his use of a very specific term that nobody else would call it. If you asked me, I would say an anti-gravity propulsion system. That's how I would describe it, because
that's what they say on Joe Rogan.
I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
He said gravitic propulsion system.
We looked that up last night too, and all we could find was same thing, science fiction type stuff. But there are some things that line up. One,
fuck it, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up because I'm fucking curious. I want to know if it's any different than
is, like I had mentioned,
than what I've been looking at, or what I'm assuming it is. Gravitic propulsion system. What kind of shit are we talking about? Is gravitic propulsion system possible? There is only one experimental proof that gravitic fucking I can't waves exist. With such a limitation, it may seem premature to suggest that the possibility of the gravitic waves can become a preferred space propulsion technique. The present understanding of the problem indicates that this is not the case. What is it? What is gravitic propulsion? United States Gravity Control Propulsion Research. What the fuck? Here we go. Sam Shoemate explained on the show that the acronym meant a car bomb. No, what the fuck? That's not what I'm talking about. Jesus, Google. How the fuck do you know what I'm listening to? The concept of gravitic propulsion refers to hypothetical ability to manipulate gravitational fields to propel objects, especially spacecraft. Okay, so yeah, it's a fancy way of fucking saying anti-gravity. Great.
Well, let's talk about the guy's story. Obviously, he had a VBID. Obviously, he was in the military and served. And the thing that he was talking about in 2019, we pulled a report. This is from October 9th, 2019. UN report find alleged drug facilities were not lawful target airstrikes caused significant civilian casualties. The United Nations Special Report, which examines the impact on civilians of the United States airstrikes on alleged drug processing facilities on 5 May 2019 in Afghanistan, determines the operation caused a large number of civilian casualties. The report also examines the legal framework applicable to this incident. In June 2019, the UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, together with representatives of the Afghanistan Independent...
We're talking about the war crimes that he committed, pretty much. They're trying to connect the dots, right? Tesla. Let's skip to the theory. I just only have so much amount of time. If you want to watch a whole video, it is very fucking interesting. I'm gonna watch the whole video tomorrow, or I'll watch the gap I missed, I guess. We're gonna skip to the theory though.
Just in there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious why he did
35.
this.
Oh,
He
you
wanted
can see
to
the
bring
time
attention
stamp.
to the
Never mind.
incident in 2019 that got covered up. Do you have any inside, any theories on this?
So we had a running theory downstairs. I've seen all of the conspiracies. I've seen all the questions about, all right, this guy is what, 20-year special forces. He just got done with team sergeant time.
Bro,
He's
20 years, he should have retired,
very
bro.
qualified and very
Fuck.
capable Green Beret. Everybody I've spoken to who knew the guy prior, yesterday I spoke to several people, to include his old team leader, who's now lieutenant colonel. Said he was fine, nothing out of place. His mental state was not something that anybody was concerned about. His ex-girlfriend posted photos of him bragging about how he got a Tesla and all this other stuff. So stick with me here.
Oh, what?
Very capable guy, but he loads the Tesla up. A Tesla, which Elon Musk brags about being bulletproof, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of his selling points. It's bulletproof. We even saw Joe Rogan shoot an arrow at it and wasn't able to puncture this thing.
Exactly, bro.
So he loads up a Tesla knowing that...
Literally, the amount of the fucking Cybertrucks I've seen, majority of them are being shot at. That's how bulletproof it is. It's fucking ridiculous.
It's gonna, not explode like he wants it to with fireworks and a bunch of other junk, when he can make a car bomb that's gonna level this place. Here's what I think. So
He's sending
the
a
PAO,
message.
the Army PAO is saying that the body inside the cab did not match the DNA of his child. All right. We also know that there was no, they said he was shot by a Desert Eagle.
Wait a second. Are they trying to... Is he trying to assume that that's not even fucking Livelsberger? Like... Because what I was getting was people were trying to point out the fact that they didn't match, like, as if he was stressed out because he found out his kid wasn't really his. But this is more like his DNA doesn't match his own kid because it's not him. I might be going too deep into this. I don't know.
We know that there was no signature when it rolled up, so nobody shot themselves when it rolled up to it. You would have seen a large signature. Mr. Guns and Gear, he's on X.
Yeah, the
He goes
Desert
into
Eagle.
this a lot in depth. He's a firearms expert, and
Big
he
ol'
talks
bullet.
about this, and there's no signature. So this is what happens. You get a Tesla because you know it can drive itself up to the hotel, the Trump Tower. You put a body in it, roll it up. It's already burned up.
Teslas don't work off of just weight. They work off of hand signature, right? So I would assume that a dead body's signature for the heat, like, because you have to have your hand on the steering wheel. That was a big update because people were like, there's videos of people falling asleep and just not at the wheel at all when Teslas were being first rolled out. So you would have to have a living hand on it, I'd imagine, for it to self-drive itself.
Or it's already shot, excuse me. You don't want to kill anybody because that's not the message you're trying to send. You're not trying to level the tower or kill a bunch of people. So you load it up with fireworks and a bunch of junk to send a message.
Also, if this theory is true, where the fuck you get the body from, bro?
And we know that his signal number or his signal safety number changed. That can't be done unless you're inside that signal account. And a lot of people conjecture, was the FBI inside his signal account, whatever else. But what if he accidentally changed his safety number, goofed up there? He rolled a body up in a Tesla specifically because a Tesla can drive itself up to the tower, and did what he did to send a message to expose his stuff. And he's still alive out there somewhere.
Well, the other
Answers
thing
a lot of
is,
questions.
The other thing is,
Also, if he's a advanced like drone pilot in the military, Green Beret, a very smart individual, you would it would be a safe assumption, I would say, and this is all speculation, obviously, but like that this guy, maybe even with like the Tesla setbacks where you need to be like alive to drive it, I would assume you'd have to have like some kind of heat signature. That it seems like a natural human being that's alive. maybe there's a way he can hack the system. I don't fucking know. It seems like kind of ridiculous now that I'm saying it, but you know, it would be possible in a movie.
Maybe the FBI wasn't in his phone. Maybe, I mean, this guy's obviously very competent. I mean, he's got a TSSCI clearance for the polygraph. He's been associated with USASOC. Obviously, he was on this operation in 2019. By the way, the general in charge of that.
The fact that he's rolling around and he was part of a cover-up, supposedly, for war crimes that the military covered up, and he's just rolling around in a fucking Tesla by himself. Like, yeah, I think he's competent. You know, I think he's capable of something.
It was General Miller. You'll see that in the email that we post on X later after this interview comes out. You know, maybe he changed his number on purpose and switched phones because he obviously was tipped off or conducted his own counter surveillance and caught Homeland or FBI tracking him. And so I think there's a very good possibility that that Matthew Livelsberger might be still alive.
It checks, as far as I can tell, it checks all the blocks.
The Desert Eagle.
That's a big
The
reach.
Desert Eagle, I mean...
What about it? It's a big bullet.
Yeah.
Easy way to kill yourself.
Over the top firearm. But if you think about it, if he was going to kill himself or whoever was in that car was going to kill himself, look.
Okay, so that I see where he's going, but that theory doesn't compute. They don't line up with each other because if you did have the Desert Eagle, you wouldn't. That would pretty much mean like you are trying to kill yourself. You know, get it over with quicker, right? Ensure you know you don't live because it's a bigger bullet, right? Less risks of more pain. That would indicate that you were going to kill yourself. That would indicate that he's actually dead, right? Unless you somehow had some guy that was down for the movement to do that himself. I just that's so hard to believe. That is way too many, like, it seems too convenient for like a theory that's believable to me.
If I was gonna commit suicide with a firearm, I would go with the biggest possible bullet.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people use shotguns.
That I could to make sure that it actually worked, because I wouldn't want to be sitting there choking all over me.
Anybody watching this, don't do that shit, bro. Don't do that shit. Don't
myself with a fucking
life
9mm or something.
Life is too precious
so
to cut it too early.
That is, as far as I know, a 50 caliber Desert Eagle is the biggest handgun caliber that you can get.
True.
And so that could play into this as well. But
there's a lot going on.
was there something in that email again that said that this would prevent World War III with the UAP?
Well,
drone?
he didn't say it would prevent World War III, but he was asking that. He said you need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war, because this is a mutually assured destruction situation.
I wonder.
If we do have technology that's like UFOs and they can move that fast and they can be they move like the speed of light, well, first off, that technology must be drone powered, which would make sense why he would understand it, right? It's not like with Bob Lazar's situation with the Area 51. If you don't know anything about Bob Lazar, bro, you gotta go watch the podcast that he was on with Joe Rogan. It's amazing. It's a fucking rabbit hole. But in that, they actually fly the crafts. Like humans supposedly were flying the UFOs. There's no way the UAPs that I've seen on the videos where they fucking they're just moving like you have a laser pointer, bro, and you're pointing in the sky. It's moving like that. Like it doesn't make sense at all. And the speeds that they're moving at, the change of directions. It would, if someone was piloting that like a human, they would be pulverized. They would be fucking slushy. So I don't see how it's ensured destruction for the U.S. If China has them, because he's saying that the U.S. has had them historically, right? Which. What is the manifesto kind of insinuating that the progress with that technology has not progressed as fast and as well as it did in China. I'm trying to like make sense of this, right?
I wonder what he's trying to do with these, what he's trying to tell us with these drones.
I hesitate to even get into this realm because I have no expertise in drones or let's just call it alien technology, UFO technology, whatever's going on here. But here's one thing that I talked about with the guys downstairs earlier. Several weeks ago, I don't know if you saw that video. It was a New Jersey sheriff or chief of police. I can't remember which, but he flew their own drone up, their own department drone up to try to figure out what was going on. So we had all these drone issues that were being cited off of New Jersey and everything. And what he commented on video was how fast these things were. He said, we have a pretty robust drone, and they flew it up there to try to catch these drones that were there, and they just, bam, they were gone. He said there was no catching them, never seen anything like it. They don't even know, they have no idea what that.
Okay, so I've been paying attention to that a lot, like the drone situation on the East Coast. Not a lot lately, but like I did watch it a lot. I didn't cover it, I don't think, on the channel. I thought about doing it. I tried to do a video, but I was like, nah, it's just weird. And I have experience with drones as well. Like I pilot them. So I just, from the stories I was hearing, like the SUV-sized drones, it seemed more like humanly possible for humans to develop the technology they're talking about. Obviously, you have such a big drone like that. They're going to have some kind of power source, a really big battery, like a DJI Mini 3 lasts for like fucking 25 minutes on a good day, a battery, and you switch it out. That's a really tiny battery, and that's what I have experience piloting. There's bigger drones, but the small one does a great job for me. It's 4K quality. You can do vertical or horizontal frames, you know. But like the Phantom's a bigger drone. I don't know exactly the battery life on that thing, but I imagine especially the higher you go, the faster you move, the more juice you're using. I was just assuming they were like better versions of the drones I'm using. But what they're talking about right now is possibly like the UAPs that we've seen move like laser pointers. This is fucking nutty, dude. This is fucking nutty. Which would make a lot more sense, because I believe those are powered by, from Bob Lazar's, what he said, what was it, like, element, like, 41 or some random shit, bro. Something that wasn't, like, we finally discovered after the fact that he went public about it, and people called him a kook, but we don't even have a stabilized version of that element that powers those UFOs, right? That Bob Lazar talked about. So this is so weird. This is so fucking weird.
That could have been. And so you have this capability that is, I guess, in line with what we hear about anti-gravity being. And I don't know. It makes you wonder.
Well, you have the stuff with Ryan Graves and is it Dan Favor? Dave?
Why does that sound so familiar?
Favor?
Commander David Fravor.
The Commander David Favor.
Were those guys on Joe Rogan?
You know, was it the Nimitz?
He was in the Nimitz strike group in 2004.
Yeah, the Nimitz strike group in 2004 that reported those UAPs coming out of the water and had no propulsion system.
I remember that.
But, you know, and it's interesting that nobody seems to know what the drones are, and it just, you know, kind of disappeared out of the media. And, you know, and the other thing is we do have the capability to take these drones out. Well, everybody was trying to figure out what the drone's on. I brought on a very prominent businessman, Joe Lonsdale, who is the co-founder of.
To be frank, if we have the ability to take the drones out, there's no way that these are like the UFOs. I would doubt. Well, actually, now that I think about it, Bob Lazar said that they got the UFOs because they were crashed ships. So maybe there's a way.
Epirus is they manufacture these directed EMP weapons that can take out 100 drones at a time. Basically sends out a simultaneous different directed EMP weapons brought
Well, we have a counter weapon. Then why would this guy, like, you think this guy, if he's so plugged in, he would understand that? It's like, why would this be like mutual destruction? When I hear mutual destruction, like guaranteed mutual destruction when it comes to war, I'm thinking nuclear, not drone powered air, air battles
him on. He's also
or water battles, I guess, too.
founder of Palantir, big AI platform that the military's been using.
Sure.
That kind of
Well, it'd be crazy if they
revolutionized
strapped a
warfare.
fucking nuke on one of those things.
So
That would-
we could have
that
taken
would make
those
more
drones
sense.
out at any moment in time. In fact, I know those are deployed. So that could be. So he had two objectives. One, he definitely wanted to bring light to 2019. That obviously affected his code of morale,
Yeah.
morals, and the drones.
Yeah.
And he's obviously very worried about World War III, which I think everybody right now. But why Trump Hotel? Why
the
Las
Tesla
Vegas?
cut?
Yeah.
The Tesla truck.
Conjecture and speculation at this point.
Oh my god. Oh, I just got shivers, bro. It does make sense. Trump Hotel, he's sending a message to Trump because he's the leader of the country. Elon Musk, the Cybertruck, he's also a very predominant person, one of the richest men in the world, obviously on the cutting edge and doesn't deal with bullshit, right? Doesn't want to deal with the bullshit and the corruption. That's what he seems like to me. And then Las Vegas, where Area 51 is supposed to be. Wow. I'm getting fucking chills right now, bro.
I couldn't even tell you. You know, I've heard both sides. I've seen them finding posts from his wife, who's very allegedly. I'm not saying this. I'm just saying what has been put out on social media is very anti-Trump. She has had a number of anti-Trump posts.
I don't think this is a shot at Trump, bro. I think this is to get Trump's attention. I really do. Bro. This is crazy. Comment down below what you think, man. I'm curious to hear y'all's opinions. Wow, I didn't expect. I've gone completely in a different direction than I thought I was going to go.
Him, who
listening to this
his
shit.
family say is a stalwart
God,
patriot,
it's 4:17. I
Trump
need to go to
supporter,
bed,
all
man.
these
But
other
this
things.
is so fucking interesting.
Which I guess if I had to guess, just in the realm of conjecture again, I would say Trump Tower. It draws more media, more fanfare. Was this an assassination attempt? That kind of stuff. So you get more press, more media pulling into it
fans the
because it
flame.
is such a significant namesake, if you will. But at the same time, it was a fireworks display.
It's
and
symbolic,
very little
bro.
more. And if I'm running with the theory that I proposed a little while ago, he didn't want to hurt anybody. He
Yeah.
wanted to send a message.
Yeah,
I mean, it's very
that makes
obvious.
more sense.
Look, the guy's got great tradecraft. You know, I mean, he changed his signal number if that was him, or his
Bro, comment down below. I don't know what they mean by changing his signal number. What the fuck does that even mean? Like his phone signal is like.
whatever the contact number on signal.
Okay, I'm assuming
20
so. Yeah.
plus year in special operations at the highest level.
Yeah, to say the least.
Picked a car.
Green
that's
berets are
bulletproof
crazy, man.
to do this. I think, yeah, there definitely
The
wasn't
motherfuckers are
mass
talented, bro.
casualties. He wasn't trying to hit mass casualties, because otherwise he would have done it at another location as well, or the bomb would have been bigger to take the entire building
agree.
out.
Yeah.
And so this definitely wasn't, in my opinion, this definitely wasn't incompetence.
Another
do
thing
not
to
think he's
support
alive,
this.
though, bro.
So you got the
I just-
email.
that
He
doesn't make sense
desperately
to me.
wanted to talk to you before December 31st. He knew beyond a shadow of a doubt January 1st was go day. Nobody was pressuring him. At the beginning of this email, we see, first of all, I'm not under duress or hostile influence or control. Okay, so he
Yeah.
says that.
Immediately in the beginning.
He reached out to you. He was very emphatic that it had to be before December 31st because he was doing this thing on January 1st. For some reason, that was a landmark day to him. Maybe it was just because big day for everybody, January 1st. But he was very emphatic that was the time. And then the thing he was trying to do was overall, more than anything.
I'm gonna
was
put
get
my
a
tinfoil hat on again, bro. Just hear me out, bro. I don't know if this is possible. You know, in this scenario, I'm thinking about it even more. And I think it's not possible, right? Because what if higher powers knew this was gonna happen, right? I'm just. This is a theory. Just stay with me. And the NO thing was a distraction, I guess you could say. I don't think it would be, right? I don't think this is the case at all. But I'm playing with all kind of possibilities. I'm just trying to think them out loud, right? But the problem with that, like having like that situation, kind of trying to distract the public away from this one, is that then the higher powers would know this is gonna happen, right? Because it's planned. So yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. Throw that out the window.
message across on the
That
biggest
logic doesn't
platforms
line up at all.
possible. He was trying to talk to Pete Hegseth. Why would you want to talk to the Secretary of Defense? He's trying to blow the whistle on these war crimes. He's trying to say this thing happened, man. Like, I can't live with this anymore. He desperately needed to talk to you, the biggest platform out there. He needed to talk to Fox News. I need to get this message out. That was his overall goal. In everything else, everything I've seen, I have not seen the intended goal was to kill himself or to create a mass casualty event. It is to get this message out. And how can I
Okay, that creates another hole in the theory, because if he's not trying to kill himself, like, why would he do it? And I just don't think like I guess he could get like a body from a morgue or something like that. This shit's like straight up this is fucking movie, bro. The only other reason I could think maybe he did it himself, like he actually took his life, and it was him in that car, would be like maybe people were onto him and his window of opportunity was closing, and he said, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to it's like the situation where in the movie the bomb is a remote detonated bomb, but the remote, goes out, so now you have to detonate the bomb manually, and that's what he did. I have no idea. I'm just speculating and trying to play around with these theories.
do that?
That would make a little bit of sense.
Bang for my buck. How can I get that done?
But then you have the
That's what I'm
DNA thing,
saying.
man.
Yeah. It's a damn good point. Wow. Do you think there was any correlation between him and the New Orleans attack?
No.
I don't either.
I looked at all of that. I looked at the posts. I looked at people are scrambling for news. Everybody wants to post something. They
Yep.
want to be the
They
guy
want the
on
biggest
social
story.
media to post the.
They want to be the ones that connect the dots, and sometimes the dots don't need to be connected. You're just
groundbreaking
misdirecting everybody.
thing. And I saw all these connections to Fort Bragg, and they deployed together at this time.
That's what it is, Fort
Great.
Bragg. There's I heard about Fort Bragg, and I looked it up on YouTube. There's a bunch of murders that happen at Fort Bragg. I'm gonna be watching a video. I haven't watched it yet. There's an hour-long documentary on that whole situation at Fort Bragg. We're gonna check that out, man. It seems really odd.
The rest of us. I was at Fort Bragg. Oh man, tie me to Delta Force. I must have been part of Delta Force and some side. No.
Okay, maybe I don't need to react to it. I don't know. I'm still interested.
I had nothing to do with them. It's this nonsense. It's a big organization. The Army is very large. You're picking things out and you're trying to make this a thing. That New Orleans guy was a staff sergeant who got out of the active duty Army in 2015, and he was in the reserves until 2020. People are saying in the last year he was radicalized. I talked to multiple of his peers, to include, I'm going to be very, very careful with this, former leadership, I'm not going to give what echelon they were at, former leadership of his. There was no indication at all back then that he was radicalized. He didn't say radicalized. I've seen the posts. I saw several people who were saying, well, we have confirmed posts that he was saying radical Islamic things. I don't believe it, because nobody he worked with confirmed that. They said no. We had no indication that he was like this. And if you talk to
So
people
we're
now,
talking
they said
about a
in the
false
last
flag
year,
situation.
he was radicalized. He started taking on these more radical teachings of Islam and everything else. And he had this. He fell into financial hardship and all these other things. So you're telling me this guy who was a former 42 Alpha S1 guy, human resources, pushes your paper, and then an IT guy, 25 Bravo, is somehow connected to a Green Beret team sergeant?
What was that one project that the CIA had? It was like with mind control, and it had like the use of cyanide, or was it like acid? And this is fucking interesting, bro, because if that's true, imagine the development they might have had on that situation, bro. Well, I know it is true because they came out, but right, they've had the disclosure of the confidential files released, right? But still, like, it's just I don't fuck. I'm all over the place with this subject.
Well, also, they found an ISIS flag.
So many different subjects
in New Orleans,
which
they didn't find any of that here.
I think that might have been just some silliness on his part, trying to take on some kind of Islamic banner of jihad. I would conjecture, all conjecture, say that is likely he has no affiliations to ISIS. But
I wonder. I don't really believe in coincidences. And both of these explosions happened in the same day.
Yeah.
Or both of these attacks, whatever you want to call them, happened on the same day. The attack and the explosion, which obviously wasn't meant to be an attack.
Doesn't seem like it, no.
That's fair. And I don't believe in coincidences either normally, but I look at a landmark day like January 1st, and I think, what better day? Any day. I'm going to do a thing January 1st.
Yeah.
Didn't we have some shit pop off last year, too, on January 1st?
And I think
man,
possibly old boy in New Orleans had help. I don't think that he could have done all the spotting and surveying and assessing himself. He would have likely had to at least had a spotter to say, yeah, you're good to go. Maybe, but I think that's plausible. But other than that, I have a hard time making that connection.
Man, I'm gonna call it here. Drone UAP concerns, Iran missiles, and border security. We covered the beef of this, man. I'm gonna listen to the rest on my own. I recommend y'all doing the same. This deserves a fucking like. This is fucking nuts. Wow. Let's look at the comment section below. This is gonna be nutty, probably. It is an honor being on the FBI watch list with you all. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's start by saying these two men don't appear to be unstable or suicidal in any way. Likewise. Me neither. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, man. Well, if there's other videos that pop up or any topics I want to talk about, any follow-ups, we'll dive into it. At the end of the day, this is the ether, where we talk about everything and anything that is interesting to me. And unfortunately, this topic is it snowballed a lot more than I expected. Wow. My name is Trey Swish. Thank you for watching, man. Hit that sub button. Let's get the 1K. Go give Shawn Ryan's show a like on their video as well. Everything's linked in the comment section. Wow, bro. I don't know what else to say. What a way to go to fucking sleep, I guess. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Hit that sub button, bro. Help me out. Let's get to 1K and hit that like button. Deuces.